Well, here I am inside the turret of the USS Turner Joy in Bremerton, Washington. I'm having a really good time. I'm really recommending to all the people who write, and I don't care if it's screenplays or not, but for everyone who writes, they should come visit museums and historical places to learn something about what they're writing about. If you happen to be writing about the military, then yes, the Turner Joy is something to visit and learn from. Little historical note, the Turner Joy was at the Bay of Tonkin incident in 1962 and was one of the reasons we entered the war in Vietnam. But this is inside the turret. You can see the seat for the gunner. Little seat belts hanging down. I'm sure the seat is flipped over and he sat there suspended. If we continue over, you can switch the camera. Okay. So this is, let me turn this. Oops, there we go. Now you can see part of the 5-inch gun that makes up this turret, and the inside of this turret is not very big. Normally it was run as an automatic turret. It wasn't manned during firing, but it can be. So, interesting. Behind me you can see the 5-inch gun of the turret and the little red devices for ejecting the shells. Also, right below my feet is a hole produced by shore batteries in Vietnam, in North Vietnam, as Turner Joy was firing. A lot of history here, and as a writer, again, you should come and enjoy this history. And just behind me is the actual control center for the 5-inch guns. This facility, and let me see if I can give you a better view. This facility was the one that actually controlled the guns. What you saw earlier was the optical sighting system from above the bridge. Well, continuing the saga from the Turner Joy, I'm here on the main deck, kind of walking around and enjoying the presentation. On board the ship is a POW memorial, occupying what used to be the bunk rooms of a couple of officers. And they also have a good little museum here for the history of the destroyer. So if you're interested in any of this, please come on down to Bremerton and take a tour of the Turner Joy. Now we're going to go down this ladder here to the sailors' bunk rooms, and we're going to see how badly the sailors slept. I'm going to start by showing you the sailors' lockers. That's all the locker space they got. Plus, they got to put everything underneath their bunk. So it doesn't give you a lot of room. This is where the enlisted sailors. Yes, I almost said soldier. This is where the enlisted sailors slept. You can see they're a little tight. In fact, those bunks aren't even 6 feet long. Yours truly could not fit. Again, more enlisted bunks, literally living on top of each other, and in some cases they were what they called hot wrecking, or as soon as one man got up to go on his shift, the other man occupied the bunk. Not my style. I want to point out something to writers. See these red steps going up to the top bunk? That's what you were supposed to use to get up to the middle and the top bunk, were these red steps. But normally the poor Yutz on the bottom rack usually had his bedding soiled because the sailors would tend to put their feet on the sides of the rack, not on the steps here. And it was just the nature of things. What you're seeing here is the officers' bunk room or stateroom. There's 2 bunks, 2 junior officers. The captain is the only one that ever got his own bunk room. You can see how small and Spartan it is, but it's necessary on board a ship at sea. This is the head for the enlisted sailors. You can see that they have 1 shower, and you only had 5 minutes in that shower. So you can see how close and tight everything was. Right here is a senior enlisted bunk room. You can see behind me there are only 2 bunks and a very large locker. Let's turn it this way. Yeah, you can see a very large locker for the senior enlisted guys, and there is actually a private sink. And interestingly enough, we're going to turn it completely around. If you can see over here, that's an entertainment system. There's 6 channels to choose from with a little bit of volume. I can't imagine what they played in the 1960s, but I'm sure there was a little Creedence in there. So, a little more room. Sometimes they actually came with chairs and a little table. Interesting. This is the officer's wardroom. It's really nice in here. You can see they have wood cabinetry. They have their own kitchen. There's a big dining table behind me. The officers had it pretty good here. Oh, this is the XO stateroom. You can see that he has room for 2 bunks. The thing I wanted to show you is his own little window. He has a lot more locker room, and he has his own desk. You can see that over my shoulder. There we go. And generally has more room, but I suspect he didn't spend a lot of time in here. But it's we're in what is called officers' country, and this was where all the officers lived and worked. And if anyone ever wondered what a windlass looked like on board of a destroyer, that's it. That's where you would raise and lower the anchor, and the anchor chain is up above, and then it's brought down through that shaft into this container when the ship is underway. It's very interesting area here, and the door, this hatch leads down to the anchor maintenance area. Yeah, I don't know if you can read that, but this hatch, which is a restricted area, obviously, this hatch leads down to the projectile magazine. The magazine crew of 12, it says, was made up of sailors from various divisions of the ship. Basically, all 1,200 pieces of 5-inch ammunition, that was 600 projectiles and 600 cartridge cases, had to be loaded by hand. So actually, from the dock through this ship, all the way down these ladders, the shells were brought by hand to be reloaded into the magazine. Fun times. Well, at last, I'm sitting in the captain's chair on what is called the maneuvering bridge. So if you were going to look around, in many cases there was a maneuvering bridge where it was beautiful windows, and then there would be the battle bridge behind, and we'll go in and check that out in a moment. But this is has minimalist controls, minimalist instruments too, and it is essentially a bridge for the captain can see out and see where the ship is going. It really is very interesting, minimal controls. And it's good to sit down for a while. We're now on the battle bridge, landing bridge, whatever you call it. Behind me is where the steerer of the ship would be, or the helmsman. And you can see that there are map tables, navigation aids, the radar. The main radar is right here. We saw the repeater of it earlier in the torpedo room. I think what is most interesting about this bridge is this. Safety precautions for your protection during an atomic attack. That's very interesting. There are also telephones for contacting various parts of the ship, as well as an old-fashioned speaking tube. Yeah. So otherwise the binnacle is here. It has speed control for the two engines. We're inside the sonar room of the Turner Joy. This is the only sonar unit in the whole ship. There's a repeater station across the way, but this is the sonar room. It also contains the Gertrude, which is a high-frequency underwater communication system, as well as the anti-torpedo decoy deploying system, which was necessary for foreign ships firing torpedoes at the Turner Joy. It's a very cramped, small space, as you can see, and only 3 people fit in here. So, and behind me is the Combat Information Center, CIC, which is the heart of the ship's ability to combat other surface or undersea vessels. Can't go into the room because of this plastic walls, but you can see that it's a very small area and would be manned by, it looks like it would be manned by 6 or 8 sailors. But walking out from there, you can see where navigation and just across the way here is the captain's day cabin, and this is where the captain of the ship can be during the day, and then he has a normal bunk room below decks. But this would not be the captain's stateroom. This would be his day bed. So, this area is just off the bridge. That is the infamous bosun's chair. That device was used to transport people from ship to ship at sea. You know, you would be hoisted over by a crane, but what was really taking you was a line that was attached to a part of the ship to another ship. And if you were lucky, you didn't get dunked. Behind me is the torpedoes for the Turner Joy. They're external to the ship, not internal. They're ejected from the ship by a high air pressure, like 1,500 pounds per square inch. And once they hit the water, then there's a battery that is activated, and that starts the steam system for the torpedo, and off it goes. The Turner carried 3 tubes on one side, 3 tubes on the other, and the torpedoes themselves, they're nothing but an outgrowth of the torpedoes of World War II.